Amazing. Thank you again for another incredible opportunity for myself, the main man himself, Eric Orlean, world-renowned fitness personal trainer, mindset, everything that you could possibly need to move your performance to the next level. This guy has available and can help you provide all of those insights and knowledge to get you to the next level. So I'm grateful that he's here to share and extend some of his time and his thoughts with me here as a whole. We are really going to break down, the topic of today's video is we're going to break down understanding massive imperfect action, what that actually means, when it's relevant and when it's not, and also how you should be thinking about it as you start to take some of those right actions in the right direction. Because frankly, at the end of the day, most people are just in their own way. And the problem a lot of times is because they're just overthinking the process. And that's why I even thought to bring up this initial topic here. Eric, you and I were breaking it down a couple minutes before this as well. A little bit of impromptu that, the fly on the wall didn't unfortunately get a chance to hear. But with that said, so Eric, why don't you just give us like a brief intro? Tell us something that you've been working on recently, dude. Tell us something that you're excited about. Then we'll dive into today's topic about massive imperfect action. Because I think if you can relate maybe even a story of something personal you're working on right now, I'm sure it relates to that topic here as a whole.
Yeah. So, right now, as my online fitness programs are developing and every day just getting better and better, just with the clients I'm connecting with and getting results and everything like that. I think that this topic of massive imperfect action is an interesting one because it really is applied to what I'm currently doing. And, some of the conversation that Justin and I were just having was actually surrounded, around like, hey, how is massive imperfect action being received in here? Right? Like, how are you guys listening to this? And I'd love if you guys drop comments and tell me what you think massive imperfect action is. But for me, I really, I define it as, put in the reps, right? I define it as, hey, like you're not just going to do something one time and get the result. This is, it's like whether it's building a muscle, building a business, building a family, right? There's repetitive steps, repetitive actions that go into your day-to-day habits that get you to the result, whether that's strength, whether that's building a building, whether that's building, whatever you are building towards. Massive imperfect action in my head, and I want to make sure that this is clear, that it's not to lower the quality of what you are doing, right? Massive imperfect action just means that when you take that first rep towards what you're doing, you do that first push-up. If it's not a good push-up, do another push-up. Don't think about the last push-up. Massive imperfect action means that you need to get to a place where you consistently, right, put in reps where you over time get the refined result rather than thinking that it's coming around the first time. And this is where Justin and I had a little bit of a back and forth trying to figure out like, hey, massive imperfect action. And we both love this concept, right? But it's really this idea that, hey, we want to make sure that it's being received in a way, right, where you guys are fully understanding what we're talking about here. And back to how this is applying in my life, right? As I've taken on some fitness clients online and I've really adapted, different from working in a gym or in a hospital or a wellness center or any other place that I've worked, right? I've had to learn, hey, what are the touch-in points? How do I create an effective program? How do I make sure that the program's being done right if I'm not there for every workout? So there were different nuances to being a fitness trainer online than there were to being a fitness trainer in person. So massive imperfect action for me was just getting a couple of clients on board, giving them some programs, seeing where some of the challenges were, asking them, hey, what do you like? What do you dislike? And to me, my programs are not perfect yet. They're not exactly where I want them to be because I feel even in this moment, if you train with me in person, you're going to get a better experience. But I want to make sure that the playing field is even, right? Ooh, let's make that even. But it's the idea that, massive imperfect action is take action. Really more so the idea is put in the reps and understand that even when that first rep is not perfect, don't think about it. Do another one. Do another one. do another one. So that's really, you know, where I'm applying that in my life now. You know, and as I'm developing these programs, as I'm really getting better and communicating, at the end of the day, even when it's great, I'm going to put in more reps. I want it to be better. Right. One thing that our man Tony Robbins says that I love is that, you know, one thing even about the greats is that the greats want to be greater. Right. That's why they've always been great.
Yep.
Right. So that's really
like, you
where
know,
this is going.
This whole idea of massive imperfect action, I can definitely see where you're coming from. And, you know, at the end of the day, why people can conceive it from the perspective of like, well, I don't want to do anything if it's not going to be the way that I want it to be. Well, here's the reality. The perfectionist mentality leads to stagnation and procrastination. Here's why. Most people, because they're so unbelievably loyal to the result that they want to get and they want it to feel and be a certain way when the result gets there, they don't start to take action because they're not prepared to be able to create that ultimate result. But they don't recognize the only way to get to that level of preparedness and get to quote unquote more a greater level of perfection, that only happens through the process of commitment and doing it on a daily basis so that you can continue to sharpen the axe.
Got a quick question for you, and I think I think this is interesting. Would you say that it's, you know what, because I don't want to generalize and I don't want to just, you know, put a blanket over this, but I would venture to say most of us humans, especially about our dreams and our goals, we're impatient about them. Would you say that that's fair?
100%.
And when I want everyone to imagine if you went to the gym, right, and you did 1,000 push-ups, I want you to imagine if you stopped after every one push-up and thought about it. How long would you be at the gym? Just think about that, right? And that's really what we're trying to paint the picture here, give you the analogy, the story, the way to really understand this concept, right? Because whether it's massive imperfect action or put in the reps or compound interest or whatever it may be, right? These are concepts that are universal principles in doing anything great. Whether you're a ballerina or a chef or a fitness trainer or an entrepreneur, right? Or an athlete, right? There are universal principles into being great. And massive imperfect action, compound interest, repetition, right? These are the things that drive results over time. And we want to make sure that, hey, if Warren Buffett was still upset about his first dollar back in 1936 or whatever it was, right? Sorry, Warren. You know, I think that he would not be where he is today. He would not be the wealthy man that he is today. And I think that whether it's wealth, whether it's, you know, being an exceptional athlete, entrepreneur, whatever you're pursuing in your life, if we're going to stop at after every repetition, if you're going to go to the gym and do 1,000 push-ups and think about each push-up after each push-up is done, that's how you're prolonging and delaying and procrastinating, right? Your results, you know, towards your results. So that's really, I think, my thoughts on this, you know, when it really comes to this concept and understanding it, because I'm unemotional about what language you attach to, you know, any concept. I want the concept to be understood so that you can apply it and do what you do great. Whether you may be an artist, you may be a better artist than me, a better writer than me, a better this than me, better that than me. All that I think that and I'll use my fitness trainer terms. I want people to put in the reps, and I don't want them to think about it. I just want them to keep doing it to the point where eventually over time they've put in so many reps where like, hold on, I did way more than 1,000 push-ups. I did this many cold calls. I did this many, you know, I painted this many pictures, whatever you're after. I think that's really the goal here.
Yeah. So I think, and maybe this will add some perspective to what you just shared. Because here's the thing that, and language is powerful, right? Just like you've reiterated here a few times, language is powerful. Where does this take your brain when you think about the idea of massive imperfect action? What direction does that take you? Does it scare you? Does it make you feel threatened? Do you feel uncomfortable by that? Do you feel excited about it? Do you feel like, oh man, I'm not sure what's going to come out on the other side? Here's the truth in success. Here's the truth in why massive imperfect action is the root of all great things, is because two parts. One, if you are in a place where the only thing that you want is to eventually be at this position where all things are exactly as you want them to be, you're actually in the wrong game completely. You're playing the wrong game completely. And here's what I mean. If Tony Robbins is currently worth $500 or $750 million, and he's helped millions of people across the world, why does he still wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning? Why does he still read books? Why does he still pay for coaching and mentorship? Why is he still sitting down in meetings and speaking with billionaires? Because the success is not arriving at some sort of arbitrary result. The success is taking the consistent action, because confidence and belief in yourself and actually because we all want to get to the money, the things that we want. What you really want, that's all BS. The only thing that you actually want is to feel fulfilled and to be happy. That's the only thing we want. So happiness and fulfillment is the process of small commitments that you make to yourself on a consistent basis, where you follow through, and now you look back at yourself and you reflect and say, wow, you know what, Eric, I'm proud of you. You know what, Justin, looking in the mirror, I'm proud of you. I respect the fact that even when you didn't want to, you did that extra rep. You were on rep number 9.5, and you were like, I don't give a crap, 9.5, didn't get it up. I'm going to do 3 more reps after a 10-second rest, just because it's a commitment that I'm making to myself. And on the other side of that, you're not excited about like, oh man, look at all these great muscles. You're most happy, fulfilled, and excited about the fact that you committed to it for yourself. So the idea of massive imperfect action, it's really actually rooted in the idea that you're never going to all of a sudden arrive at the place that you so-called wanted to get. And like, now you can just throw up the flag and everything's all good. And now it's all good and you're just chilling. Massive imperfect action, it's because you need to get started. Most people, they don't get started. So I say massive imperfect action, so you're not so loyal to how good or the quality of what you're bringing to the table if it's perfect. If you do the work, if you do the thing that's getting you to where you want to go, inevitably in the next week, 2 weeks, a month, 10 years, 5 years, whatever the time frame is, you're going to get to that result. Talent gets a lot of people started because they're competent. They can do it with ease.
Yeah.
Commitment to action is what keeps them in the game, and that's what separates LeBron James from Allen Iverson. Sorry, no shots, but that's real talk. Allen Iverson compared to LeBron James, the ring count is substantially different because LeBron invests millions of dollars into practice, into his health, into his personal wellness, into the day-to-day grind, into the small compounded things. Alvin Iverson was here and then gone because he didn't commit to the practice. He didn't commit to the day-to-day. He didn't commit to the small compounded activities that do lead to greatness. If LeBron James is more talented naturally than 95% of all other athletes in the world, why does he still invest all of this time into practice, the small little nuances and the day-to-day things that make him who he is because he's truly trying to be the best. He's truly trying to be the person that nobody can ever surpass his level, because at the end of the day, shooting at 60% to 65% is not talent. It's how many times did he take those damn shots from that one spot on the court that separated him from everybody else. And I love this basketball analogy because you can relate it to other champions like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, rest his soul in peace. I love Kobe. He's one of my first inspirations. Him and Derek Jeter, my first inspirations that, yes, from sports, but actually led me to be successful in business as well, because their mindset and mentality was, I'm going to show up and do every single thing that everybody else won't do. Kobe was the first person at the gym, last person to leave the gym. He was already better than everybody else, but why was he doing the reps? Because he knew that one shot in the fourth quarter, where it was like that one time where he was just going to have to show up, it would be back in that extra 2 hours that he spent at the gym earlier that week getting the job done. Steph Curry, one of the best shooters of all time, shows up before game day and shoots around for an hour and a half every single day before game day. And people say, what, are you going to be tired? No, It's the repetition. He's committed to the process. His stamina, fitness, and enthusiasm are all aligned so that he can be successful to continue to show up and get the job done well and right. So I hope that that makes some sense. I'm not sure if that kind of wrapped up some of your thoughts as well, but these are some things that I think about to give people perspective. Don't be so loyal to this idea of, hey, massive imperfect action. I don't give a crap how it makes you feel. The context that we just provided is the fact that you need to get started. You gotta move.
That's 100% it. That's 100% it. I think that, you know, really my last thought here is that it's to remind everybody that, you know, when it really comes down to massive imperfect action, that's just to get started, because at the end of the day, we have to remind ourselves that we're trying to do something or achieve something or accomplish something that we've literally never done before, right? So massive imperfect action is literally about not being too loyal about what the results are in the beginning, so you can eventually overcome them through repetition, refine your skill, and get to the place you're looking to get to, right? Because you're ultimately trying to get to a place that you've never actually gone before. Right. So in order to do the things you've never done before, you have to do the things you haven't done at all. That's one of my favorite quotes. You know, and I think that's really, you know, I think where we need to end that. Remind yourself that you're trying to do something you've never done before. Therefore, it will feel strange. And to get started, massive imperfect action or reps or however you want to word it in your head, the goal here is to not get too upset about what the beginnings look like, right? So that you can overcome that, put in your repetition, get to the place where you want to go, and ultimately achieve that thing that you've never done before, so that you can look back and say, you know what, I did that.
That's it.
Let's end it there.
Mic drop. Mic drop. So leaving this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you drop your comments if you want more information, content, things like this. Share this with somebody. Don't be selfish. Share this video right now with somebody who can use this information if you feel like you got some value. Please smash the like button. This is an opportunity for you to now be plugged into our world. We're going to continue to drop incredible content at least once a week. Like this information. And here's the thing, take massive imperfect action, because the guy, the girl who's sitting next to you who has the same opportunity that you do, if they take one more piece of action than you do today, they're going to be more successful inevitably. So do not let anyone else steal your damn lunch. Take action, take this information, listen to this video again. If you did get some value, drop those likes. Again, we do appreciate everybody who does plug into this information. Eric, thank you for taking some time out of your day to come here and serve.
I'm going to go protect my lunch.
That's right. Protect his lunch, baby. Appreciate you all. Thank you so much. And we will see you on next video.